Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Nerdarch Dave.
Nathan Nerdarch.
And today the GM wants to bust some skulls with Buster Skull.
If you have a GM 911 or even just a viewer suggestion, head over to nerdarchy@gmail.com, or you can head over to the forums over on the website.
Alright, so we have a GM 911 from Damon, and he has a second level group for 4 players, and they're up against a thieves gang led by a 4th level fighter, I believe, by the name of Buster Skull. And he likes to literally mix it up in hand-to-hand combat, and he feels it'll be a really interesting combat or encounter if he can get the players weaponless. And he wants to know, how do we go about doing it?
So essentially what you have to do as a GM is you have to create environments that they can't bring their weapons into. Whether it's a gambling hall where it's been outlawed that you bring weapons or checked at the door, you check them at the door. Or
a festival and it's kind of cordoned off, and once you enter the festival you have to have your weapons piece tied or something going on where you can't really just access them.
In either of these, perhaps he's paid off the guards so they'll stay out of it. And kind of let him do. Or what if this one's a little bit tougher? Basically the gang keeps getting arrested and put in jail because the Paladin's kind of good-hearted. It sounds like a really fun campaign, by the way, Damon. I'm loving some of the things you have going on here. And so if you're doing it, even though it's not really kind of a modern concept, you can still kind of do it where you have a prison and these guys are getting sent to prison, and perhaps you even have Buster sent to prison. But then the players have to go to prison because either they get framed for something or they have to infiltrate the prison because they need to get information that they can't get otherwise. Well, guess what? If you're in prison, you don't have any weapons.
This is true. And the guards will definitely look the other way if you start punching each other.
Yeah, they might just start gambling, placing their bets. Off the top of my head, that's what I can think of. Restricted areas, a prison scene would be kind of cool.
And anything Politico? If you're, I don't know the structure of the world that they're playing in, but if they're at the King's Court or something along those lines,
I don't think Buster's going to be there, but
well,
I understand what you're going.
I did think that as well. That that would actually be a good place. Or maybe the castle, right? Like perhaps it's not the King's Court per se where the king is, but like there's either a festival like you said, or a ball or a party, and everyone gets invited. So there's big areas where people are, and Buster also gets invited and arranges for the players to kind of be guided off into another direction where he's going to give it to them. And you're in this place with nobles and aristocrats and the crown, so the weapons get checked at the door. And again, you could have easily bribed some of the less savory guards to look the other way or lead them into this kind of ambush.
And I would say that, let's say you're at a bar or an establishment and Buster's there and you're there, and he starts a fight with you, and you unsheath your swords. Well, the innkeeper is going to call the guards on you, not Buster, because you basically said, oh, you're accosting me with fists or whatever like that, or just messing around or pushing me around or saying nasty things about my mom, and I'm going to bring out a gun and point it at your face. Like, that's there's like a level of expectation for an escalation of a fight. And in D&D, we don't really do that escalation, really. There's like we're missing out on this kind of, all right.
He said my mom, I'm going to murder him.
Yeah, I'm going to take out this thing that's made for killing people and swing it at him. So there's that kind of, there's a missing element there where you're just like, oh, well, I'm going to shove him or, get in his face or yell at him or threaten him or something before you just take out the implement meant for killing other people in a public place.
That is a fantastic point, Nate. Something that not a lot of GMs really take that into account. And when you've got an NPC that's specifically trained to be able to enact the same level of damage with a weapon with his fists, and you remove that restriction of, okay, well, you can't draw your best weapon to defend yourself without you being the problem person.
So we've kind of added like areas where you just can't bring weapons, and then social situations when it really isn't acceptable to draw weapons. And the third would be, what about laws? What if somehow a law gets enacted that requires peace binds in the town? So
I was thinking if somebody was a prominent person was killed, or there was a murder that happened in the area, and they're like, all right, this is like the third one in a month, and it was done with a sword or a long dagger. So, you know, we're doing martial law right here, right now for that. So, you know, we don't care if you just came home killing a dragon, put your sword away someplace.
there's definitely a thing where they had peace binds where as you would come into the town, your weapons would be bound so that you couldn't draw them easily anyway. And then like there becomes a black market for like these fake weapon binds. Yeah, so it looks like your weapon is done as well. And also, you know, also too, there might be like taxes and tariffs that go along with that as well.
Oh, so if they ended up killing him and the paladin's like, all right, we had to take our peace binds off, he's got to go through like the kind of thought process of I either have to go to jail for murder, or I have I have to be on this black market for a peace bind to lie and rebind my weapon up. So
it'll be something that, you know, might eat at him for a long time.
Yeah, so there's kind of it's an interesting dynamic when you take the weapons of war away from people and you stick them in a situation where there's like a bully, basically, in a sense, a gang bully, pushing everyone around.
And they have to, you know, de-escalate the level of violence they're used to perpetrating upon their enemies, and deal with it with almost like a more of a real world level threat analysis, instead of like, oh, you looked at me funny, I'm going to stab you in the face with my sword. So in the comments below, you guys let us know, how would you handle this in your game? What do you think of our suggestions? Do you have more? While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over at nerdarchy.com.
Or you can hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.